Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Estate Planning TV. I am your host, Christopher Small. I am the owner of CMS Law Firm, and this is the internet's most passionate show about estate planning. Welcome, welcome. Back for another week, another fun little, I don't know what we call this, informational session, info sesh, maybe. I don't know what we call it. I'm being silly. But I do know this. I'm here to sort of drop some value for you, hopefully answer some questions for you, and give you some perspective so that you can get over the hurdle, get over the hump if you have no estate plan. And if you do have an estate plan, but this is something that's been bugging you, that you've been thinking about for a long time, which for a lot of people it does sort of carry on after the fact, then I'm going to give you something to think about, something to discuss with your spouse. With your baby mama or baby daddy to make sure that you get the right guardians set up for your kids. And before we get there, let's just talk a little bit about what this guardian term means in general. So what we're really talking about is if you die and your spouse dies, or your baby daddy, baby mama, there's no real better way to say that if you're not married, if both of you die, then who is the person that's going to step in and basically assume that parental role for your kids if they are under the age of 18? So who is going to do that? Well, there are really two ways that this happens. Way number one is you do nothing, and a judge is going to make this choice. Pretty much nobody wants to do that. You don't need any more information or push to know that that's probably not the right choice for you. But I'll give you another sort of perspective to push you over the edge, okay? What I always point out is that in almost every family, I think this exists in my family, and it may in yours, it probably does exist in yours, there is that one or two people, or that couple, that looks really good on paper, right? That everybody likes. They're like Ken and Barbie, or whatever, however you want to describe it. They look amazing on paper, and they look amazing maybe even in real life. But for whatever reason, you would never, ever, ever want them to be the guardians of your children. This could be for any number of reasons, but it typically revolves around some values that you have that they don't, right? Or some difference in philosophy. This can be parenting philosophy. It can be discipline philosophy. It can be different viewpoints and values relating to politics and money and education and work, all kinds of different things that you guys don't jive on. And so you wouldn't want to have that person to raise your kids, because I guess the idea is you want to have your kids raised by someone that shares your values. And for me, with my kids, I most definitely feel that way. I take my role as a dad very seriously, and really enjoy raising my kids, and I would definitely want to make sure that if I wasn't around or able to sort of fulfill that duty because I was gone, then I would want to have somebody in place that I was as confident as I could be that they would sort of step in for me and do those things and sort of carry out the things that I would do in the way that I would do them. And the best way to do that is to pick someone that sort of meets those things that are important to you. Okay? But remember, if you don't pick, if you have nothing, a judge is going to pick. Now, the way that you pick is with your will. It's relatively straightforward. You basically just say, hey, if I die, I nominate my spouse usually to be the guardian of my children, which is sort of you don't really have to do that for that to be in effect. If they're the biological parents, it just happens automatically, but we just do it as a matter of course, obviously. And then it says, if that person is dead, then I nominate blankety blank 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 to be my guardians. And the cool thing about this, and the reason why this is so important, is that whoever you name as the guardian in your will is the presumed guardian. Now, what does that mean? That means, let's say you name your friends, okay? Your best friends in the whole world, and you and your spouse agree. These are the ones. They're the right ones. They are the people that we want to raise our kids. They share everything. They're like our twins. We're twinsies, right? Basically, if you name them in your will to be the guardians of your children, so long as they don't quit, they are in. So let's say there's like a grandparent that's grumpy that they didn't get chosen and they want to try to fight it. There's no fighting it. It is who it is, right? There's a presumption that you as the parent know who you want to raise your kids, and you are then given that ability and that power and that authority to name the person who's going to do that. If, though, you exercise that authority. Now, hopefully that makes sense. The kicker, though, the crazy thing is that even though, by the way, if all this is making sense to you and you want to know more, you want to know more about estate planning, then please go to estateplanningvideo.com. All right, I basically laid out all of the basics of estate planning. It's going to answer probably almost every question that you could have, and then I'm going to invite you to come and talk to me if you want. So estateplanningvideo.com. Go check that out. All right. Now, what happens when a lot of people come into my office is that they tell me, look, we know how important it is to have an estate plan. We know how important it is to have guardians named, but we just can't agree. You know, the hubby wants his parents. I want my parents. The hubby wants his brother, and his brother's a loser. You know, I want to have Fred and Susie over here, who are our friends. They just can't agree, and you may find yourself in that situation right now. And what that leads to is sort of paralysis. You end up doing nothing, which is kind of the worst case scenario, because if something does happen to you, no one gets to pick. And I'm relatively sure that even your spouse's pick, even though you don't completely agree with it, is probably better than leaving that in the hands of a judge. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas, a couple of strategies to get over this hump, but it's going to take an open mind, and it's going to take open communication with your spouse, not something particularly when it comes to a topic that's as heavy and you know, feels so important as this. It's not always easy to do, but we're going to try. So the first thing that I would do if I were you, and I would just agree with your spouse, and by the way, you can't be hostile about this. You have to be for real. I would make a list of the people that are just no's. Like, not under any circumstance is this person going to take care of my children. And it can't be because, you know, whatever, there was that time they did this, like, it could be. But you can't eliminate everyone. And you can't just eliminate the people that your spouse picked because you know that they're picking them and you want to eliminate them, okay? It sounds to be like real deal people. This goes to that, you know, I don't believe in college and they're making everybody go to college. I believe in God and they don't, right? I think money is amazing and they are paupers, right? So these are the kinds of things that will probably relegate them to the no line, okay? And again, everybody has their own thing. Everybody has their own specific thing that they do. So that's that. You write those people down. Now, basically you write down the other people that you think, maybe they're in consideration. Make a list of all those people, you and your spouse. And then what you're gonna do is write down the things that are the most important to you, right? Is it politics? Is it religion? Is it money? Is it education? Is it travel? Is it parenting style, discipline? All of these things that you want to write down. And you really kind of want to number them in an order of importance for you. Like, so politics probably won't be, for me, for example, to let the cat out of the bag, politics is not super, super important to me, right? Okay, I have political views, but man, they don't carry the day. I don't hate you if you disagree with me, basically. Okay, so for you that may be different though. You may be like that may be very important to you, and that's fine. That's the idea though. Just write it all down and make a list. Spouse does the same thing, okay? Then you look at each other's lists, okay? And you see what's important to you guys and you talk about it, okay? That way you know, like, look, his top 3 things are these. My top 3 things are these. We're gonna try to get somebody that has some of all of these is that we can agree on, right? We may not be able to agree on everything, but we're gonna come to a conclusion. We're gonna pick someone. And then based on those qualities, then you start looking at all of the eligible people and you start grading them basically, okay? And you're gonna have probably like A, B, C grades. A obviously is super good, pretty much all around. B is gonna be some question marks. C is gonna be probably like a no-go. And you just go through them all. And basically, hopefully you have some A's to talk about. And then you just talk. You have to talk to your spouse. You have to communicate and you have to agree on something. And what I typically suggest that you do or point out to remember is that these nominations are not set in stone. You can update them anytime pretty easily, okay? Now, that means if you die though, while this person's named, they're gonna become the guardian, okay? So you gotta remember that. But you also have to remember that, it is possible to change these decisions after you make them. So what I typically say is like, look, make a decision that you can agree on now. Get this thing done. And by the way, if you need help getting it done, or you wanna know what getting it done means, if you want more help sort of learning about this, please go to estateplanningvideo.com. It's a free deal. I basically outline my potential client spiel, sort of the outline of what estate planning is. I do it all there. So you can go and you can do that for free, and you don't have to talk to me. You can just learn all about estate planning before you even decide what you want to do, okay? I'm hoping you like me after that, but it's okay if you don't. But that'll give you more information about guardian, power of attorney, medical power of attorney, wills, trusts. I talk about all that kind of stuff. Estateplanningvideo.com. Go check it out, okay? Okay, so what I typically suggest that people do if they can is to talk and discuss and come to an agreement. And the agreement is we're gonna pick this person and we're gonna revisit this in 1 year and we're gonna see how we still feel. We're gonna maybe do the same assessment, look at how we felt beforehand, and go from there. And every year, hopefully, you get an opportunity to update it if you need to, leave it if it's good, and then that way if something ever does happen to you, if tragedy ever does strike, then your kids are taken care of, which is like what's the #1 priority for me, basically, in the whole world. So anyway, that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Again, please go to estateplanningvideo.com, check out the video, okay? It's a great background on estate planning. You're gonna know everything you need to know. It'll give you an idea of who to pick for your people, how estate planning even works. Did you even know that estate planning covers you while you're alive? I bet you didn't. Maybe you didn't. If you didn't, you should definitely go watch the video, okay? So estateplanningvideo.com. It's, like I said, it's free, simple. Put it on 1.5 speed, watch it quickly, learn a little something, and then if you want to do more, obviously reach out. All right, that is it. Hopefully you enjoyed this edition of Estate Planning TV. Once again, I am your host, Christopher Small. This is the internet's most passionate show about estate planning, and I can't wait to be here again next week to talk to you at the same time. All right, see ya, bye.